So whether you're a novice or a veteran watch collector, chances are you either have a G-Shock or have deeply considered adding one to your rotation of watches. The big question though around G-Shock is, where do I start if I am looking to add a G-Shock to my collection? What are some of the classic quick hits that are timeless and might be the most appealing to the widest audience of enthusiasts? And that is what we're gonna be doing here today, looking at some of the top G-Shock picks to start your collection of G-Shocks, or maybe for those that have never considered the brand before, but are looking at an entry point that might be easier to stomach compared to some of the others. Now, you know my stance, buy what you love, that's all that matters, but if you've never considered a G-Shock, here are some that I would absolutely recommend, and given their utility and some of these starting under $100 in terms of price, it's a little bit easier to rationalize maybe looking in the direction of them. So I am not going to go through the entire background of G-Shock. We've done that in the past, but for that, I would recommend an article down below in the description written by Mark Bernardo that discusses the early days of Casio, its pioneering digital technology, and how the G-Shock was ultimately created in the 1980s with the product innovation coming from an unlikely place. In addition, that story is going to be comprehensive when looking at the main highlights over the past few decades that helped develop the G-Shock's important legacy. If this is interesting, you want even more backstory around the G-Shock, its origins, some of the great picks beyond what we're talking about here today, check it out in the description down below. The only setting of the stage that I'm going to mention in this video is that the G-Shock was first released in 1983, being the brainchild of Casio engineer Kiko Ibe, who wanted to develop an accurate, water and shock resistant watch unlike any before it. This premise came to the world stage by way of the DW5000C. Sales were actually slow to start, but the G-Shock slowly gained acceptance from customers who led an active lifestyle, recognizing its unprecedented durability in the process. I think a big reason why the G-Shock connected though is its ability to mean many different things for many different people. If you're into active sports like rock climbing, snowboarding, or mountain biking, you could bash around all day with a G-Shock. If you happen to enjoy waterborne activities like surfing or water skiing, don't worry, G-Shock's got you covered again. Those in military, law enforcement, firefighters, or anyone whose job finds them in some tough environments are also big fans of G-Shock too. And this isn't even touching on some of the design aspects of G-Shock and its pop cultural relevance. All of this to say is that pretty much any conceivable look you're trying to get matched with utility, G-Shock is going to be one of the best places to look. So let's kick us off with our first watch here. And this is a model that I would say is the first one that comes to mind where I would recommend people to look. This is the 5600 series. Now this is the closest model in the current lineup to the original, the DW5600E-1V. It's the black square case model most people think of when they first picture a G-Shock, and it retails around $75 and can be found for even cheaper than that. And even with this being at the point of entry, it still delivers a lot of features. It is lightweight, it's highly resistant to impact, and has water resistance of 200 meters, which is more than you'll ever need. In addition, it has a mineral glass crystal, a stopwatch, a countdown timer, multiple alarms, automatic calendar, 12 and 24-hour display, and a glowing blue-green electroluminescent backlight. And just to speak to the durability of these watches, a couple years ago, we posted a video where we dropped G-Shocks out of a helicopter to see what happened and if they could survive the impact. Many of them did live to tell the tale, so just give you some context there. One other piece that I want to mention and bring up when talking about the 5600 case is the configuration known as the GWM5610-1. At first glance, you might be thinking you are seeing double here with the 5600. And while there are many shared characteristics of these watches and it might be easy to get them confused, the 5610 delivers two features that are drastically different. One being that the 5610 is going to offer time adjustment through radio controlled timekeeping, which makes adjustment even easier. And further, it is going to be solar powered, fitting the mold of a set it and forget it timepiece to extreme levels. Next up, we have another beloved line from the G-Shock family with the 6900 series, with the original form being best followed by the DW6900-1V. This watch is the descendant of the DW6600, released back in 1994. The modern DW6900, though, is a big watch, 50 millimeters in diameter, a watch that is just as tough as it looks, making it a favorite among anyone that has a physically demanding lifestyle. It keeps all the functionality of the 5600, but more emphasis is placed on the chronograph. One of the most useful features also is the big G button right up front, making it easy to activate the backlight, which is pretty handy when you have gloves on or doing something with your hands. The burly round case features a trio of subdials above the digital display, and the oversized look and bright colors of several versions have made the 6900 a top pick among celebrities and musicians. Moving along to the next piece is the bold 9052 series. These pieces are a top pick among military personnel and first responders, and it's easy to see why. At 43 millimeters across and with its bumper-like structure, it's as overbuilt as any G-Shock out there. With big armored rectangular buttons and a likewise G backlight button up front, sporting a stencil look G, it makes the military connection a bit more on the nose. There are a few different variations on this one, most of them being basic black with a variety of different accent colors, but the one that's the most true to the original form is the DW9052-1V. In fact, it's actually gotten its own NATO stock number and is one of the few G-Shocks that were officially issued to US Navy divers. What I also like about this design though is that it's very wearable despite its unorthodox shape, making it a strong candidate for those who are more on the fence for diving into the world of G-Shock models altogether. The next series of watches here are not ones that I would say are going to look back to the past as much as some other pieces here that have this backstory of decades long history. These are going to be more modern creations, but given the fervor that they were able to develop at their release, absolutely need to be on this list. The GA2100 series was a massive success, and I mean massive success upon its launch in 2019. I saw these things everywhere. Everyone was talking about them, and for their price point and what they were doing, I think there was no surprise why these caught on so quickly. These became immediate favorites in the watch enthusiast community, being given the name Cassiope by fans. The GA2100-1A1 created a lovable silhouette with wearing dimensions that felt familiar to classic 5600 cases, especially aided by its reasonable thickness of under 12 millimeters. These watches also stood out for their analog digital display, which probably only helped mechanical watch enthusiasts look into G-Shock for the first time. It also added several functions to the already long list of standard G-Shock features. Another cool trick about these watches that I really love is how the analog hands move themselves away from the digital display when setting the time. And nowadays you have an overwhelming amount of different color variations and models to go for. And similar to other lines from G-Shock, this one also has some different variation between them with different features. You have Bluetooth connectivity and solar powered versions of these watches known as the GAB2100s. Then say you have a little bit more money to spend, you also want something that wears more like a traditional watch in steel construction. You also have the GM2100 models and the GMB2100 models. Now these watches took it another step further in creating a full metal case version to get even closer to the look and feel of the high horology archetype. So the GM2100 is going to come on a resin strap or different stylized strap, and then the GMBs are going to come on a full metal bracelet. And you even have some IP coated cases if you want to even get more wild. But all right, guys, those are some of my picks for G-Shocks to look at if you are just looking in the direction of G-Shock for the first time. I'm not saying that these are the best G-Shocks to go for or if these are the only G-Shocks to go for, but if I had someone come up to me, ask me, where should I start with my G-Shock journey? These would be some of the greatest hits, short list that I would recommend to people, especially if they're looking at it for the first time, because G-Shocks are maybe not for everybody if you're not ready for them, but if you are ready for a G-Shock, chances are you'll find something that's going to connect with you. These are some of mine. If there's any others that you would recommend, leave some comments down below. What is your favorite G-Shock model? Give some maybe personal ownership experience here, because I know there's going to be plenty of that down there. So if you can provide that, love to see it as well. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Really do appreciate that as well. Definitely check out teddybaldessar.com, full authorized dealer of over 30 brands, quick and fast fulfillment, dedicated customer support, and a full factory warranty for all the products that we offer. And also, if you are in the market for a watch, we'd absolutely love to have your business. It allows us to keep doing what we're doing here, and we love what we do. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.